Do you like our owl?
It's artificial.
Of course it is.
Must be expensive.
Very. I'm Rachel.
Deckard.
It seems you feel our work is not a benefit to the public.
Cheat codes are like any other machine. They're either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem.
Perfect. Hug your nearest and dearest replicant. It's October 4th, 2017. Welcome to episode 152 of the Cheat Codes Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We're glad you're here. The next hour is us drinking a few beers and going over our favorite topics from the past week in video game tech and pop culture news. This week, we're coming to you from always raining for some reason LA and the very, very distant future of 2019. Reluctantly, we've left what we're 75% sure was real retirement in order to, quote, retire, i.e. murder, some bioengineered beings. More human than human, I always say.
I love Rob Zombie. I'm sorry.
Well, my name is Alexandra. Rachel doesn't even get a last name. I wonder why. Lucas. I'm your totally a human, guys, assistant and host, and I find myself dodging the pollution-generated rain with Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Roy Batty Arroyo.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
Hi. Hello. Did we cover that?
Yes.
Hi.
Cheat Codes core panelist, Mr. Nick J.F. Sebastian Golesh.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You make stuff and age quickly for some reason.
Well, I got a degenerate gene disease. Degenerate gene disease.
GG disease.
Oh, that's what happens to trolls. Got it. So, and we are so thrilled to have Cheat Codes core panelist and producer of V1 Interactive, Joe Deckard Erskine Bask on the show.
Basking in it.
Yeah.
It feels real good to be back. I missed you guys.
I feel like you're purposefully doing the voice that way.
I kind of am now. I'm sorry. You're
Did
right.
you miss my radio voice?
Hey there. No, I do. I did. I missed the hell out of being here. It's good to be back, and it's weird being a guest on my own show.
You're never
I
a
guess,
guest. You're in it.
We'll see.
You're
We'll see how
great.
this goes. I'm like literally like I feel like I'm doing the thing while you're reading the prompter, and I'm just like mouthing the words because I'm used to doing it. But it's been a good 6 months, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a while.
But we're really glad to have you back, you resonant voice chucklefuck. Good to have you.
Thanks.
Love you. All right, on this episode, we'll try not to sweat over passing the Voight-Kampff test as we sort out the following. First, the Blocktober hashtag is taking Twitter by storm, encouraging game designers to share their work in progress to improve the public's understanding of the process. Next, Valve pulled over 200 games shipped by notorious fake game seller Silicon Echo Studios, that just sounds fake, from Steam for asset flipping. Not a good look. And turns out musician B.o.B's $1 million...
He prefers Robert.
Yes. Excuse me, it is Robert. $1 million flat Earth conspiracy satellite GoFundMe is a scam. Who would have thought? Shocker. So for the lightning round, Joe Arroyo will give us points for sorting through our implanted memories as we try to make sense of these quick topics.
It's a positive change.
God, how much? So glad to have you here. How much would you pay for a sweet, ratty red bandana that you got in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? Apparently, some schmobags are doling out a cool grand for the privilege. And I know. Finally, after years of what surely must have been edge-of-your-seat waiting, you too will soon be able to play Pac-Man Battle Casino at actual Vegas casinos in 2018. Great. Hey, Erskine!
Hi.
So good to have you back, man. Tell us, how's the fam?
They're good. The kids are good. Baby's coming up on 6 months. Son is coming up on 3. We live in North Bend now, which is like Twin Peaks town, essentially. Like
I was gonna
Tweedy's.
say,
Yeah, it's there. That's where we live.
Is the diners there? Like
It
from
is.
the thing? Yeah.
Cherry pie and black coffee all day long.
Damn good.
It's good. Life is good. The job is good. Family's good. Shout out to my wife. What up, Melizzy? And
Girl.
I the happy quotient is pretty high.
That's awesome.
Could find some things to bring it down, but that's just nitpicking at that
Not
point.
in
And
this
what's the
dark
point?
world.
What's
you
the
know,
point?
Stay high up.
That's right.
And y'all just shipped you hit a milestone last week at
I
V1.
was like, ship what? What did we do?
Like, oh, God.
Nobody fucking told me. What?
Ooh, Suddy.
We did. We hit a milestone at work. We're doing just fine. Things are coming. Things are moving along. And that's about all I can say about that.
That's fair. Understandable. You want to plug anything? I mean, you're one of us, so.
Shout out to everybody hitting that hashtag on the Inktober.
Yeah.
Which is fun, and I haven't been drawing very much in the past few years, but I'm doing that again because I feel pressured by our animator and one of our hard service artists at work. At the same time, I don't know. You guys should check out Chico's podcast at Chico's Cast.
You might have heard
of
it.
And if you're curious about, well, not much that we can talk about, but if you want to come look at V1 Interactive and our website and all our fancy new pictures and
of us staring off into the distance after hearing something mildly funny just a moment ago.
It does look like a Brady Bunch, but with like 15 or like 18, however many people we have now.
Or like a Christian rock album cover.
A little bit. It's V1 plus 1. But honestly, things are good. I can't complain. The rain is coming back, so my lawn is getting better, which is nice. And things don't smell like they're on fire all the time, which is also
good.
Nice.
Yeah. So. Nice change from the Didge and all that. Quick thing, what's V1's Twitter? Really quick?
At V1 Interactive.
Oh, that's easy. Okay. Because that's where I saw some Inktober pics.
There was a bunch of us
at work doing it.
There's
all
like 5
the programmers were
I saw
working.
Rachel up in there.
Rachel's up in there. Lee Wilson, Raj Nadam, and Leanne Cruz, and myself. And
great.
I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but yeah.
Not at the table.
We're 4 days in. Send ink.
Spirits are high.
Send ink.
Supplies are ample.
I want to join. It won't go well, but
just come sit down with us.
I'm gonna do the doodles, like spirals,
stick figures. It's fun.
No, you just keep drawing little like circles and squares, and eventually you fill a little paper, and you're like Inktober, bro.
I feel like I'm like not paying attention in class in high school again.
Or you could bard it up and entertain the artists, like you do,
while I draw
the other
Snoopy
artists.
If you could play guitar and sing us a song while like drawing with your toes at the same time, that'd be.
I would totally serenade you guys for Inktober. That'd be great.
And y'all could take a video and then put it on the
What songs
Twitter.
would you sing?
There you go.
I don't know.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Okay. We have to keep going. We can talk forever. I know.
November rain. It's October, but November rain. All right.
All right. Or when September ends, kill me. Oh no. Sorry, I started it.
Negatory.
Unbreakable. Damn it. Okay. Very quickly, we'll talk about what we're drinking finally on this fine episode. So whether you're chasing down Tyrell Corporation Nexus 6 models or trying to figure out whether you're a real human, it's likely that you want a pint or two after all is said and done. This week we're enjoying... Stop. What is that word, Joe? No warning.
What?
Hop-ruption?
Yeah. You got
it.
Hop-ruption.
You got a cockpit eruption.
A hip-hop eruption double IPA from the folks at Sumerian Brewing Co. as we watch the thoroughly polluted world burn. All right, let's get going before we too get retired.
Number 1.
Nice.
Yes. God. My heart every time. All right, it's October, so it's that time again. No, we're not talking about Halloween, Inktober, or even pumpkin spice, whatever the fuck. The star pastime this week / month is Blocktober. Okay, so Naughty Dog's Michael Barclay started the surprisingly awesome Blocktober hashtag. It's still Twitter, so shrug emoji. But it is good to encourage game devs to share the goings-on behind the curtain, thereby encouraging both public understanding and feedback, which is great. And as we on the panel know, games don't just begin as beautiful flowers. No, during production, level designers work with gray boxes or rough layouts that use pretty uggo geometric models to determine the outlines of each level before prettification. So you can check out gray boxes from Uncharted 2, Gears of War 4, and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. They're popping up on Twitter and many others. The hashtag is definitely worth checking out for devs and consumers alike. And this seems like a great way to try to avoid more of those frustrating and demoralizing, why did the devs do this or that, herp derp critiques in the future.
I was happy to see some Gears of War ones and watch that there were a couple of screenshots where I was like, oh, designers like painstakingly place every little cover object. Like there's little like icons in Unreal for like all the this is the cover node. And I'm like, oh, that poor designer. Had to manually place all those.
I haven't been a professional game person for very long, but I will say that looking through some of these, I was like, I can tell what genre this game is by looking at a rough map.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you were alluding to the whole, like, the fact that it's a third person, like, cover based shooter for Gears of War. Like, yeah, look at this, all this interesting cover that you could kind of get into. But, I mean, the stuff of, like, watching, like, a fully rendered Nathan Drake standing on a gray box model, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And you can see they design mark up the climbable surfaces. So, like, you just see a bunch of blocks everywhere, and then, like, one of them, the blocked out mountains is green. And it's like, you can probably climb on that one.
Yeah, that one's a special one.
It's one of the climbing ones.
Having a little bit of insight into that process, and then even having a little bit of insight because you being a professional game person also gives you, like, this kind of thing. Oh, okay, I played that game. That's kind of interesting. And I want to say that what's fun about it is that it's this idea of transparency about the game development process. Yes. However, it's also after the fact, which is also, like, protective of the people that are making the thing, which is great. But at the same time, you get to kind of like a look behind the curtain again after the fact, which is kind of brilliant, you know? So I've been fighting the urge to kind of, like, grab screen caps of what we're making and throw it up there, and
We just can't.
No,
I know
no,
better.
no.
I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy.
You don't want to end up with, like, an overshare situation. Like, what was that game where you're settling planets, stars,
No Man's
whatever?
Sky?
Yeah, No Man's Sky, where they, like, were too transparent. It's like a line.
It was not even just the transparency; it was like the hype that surrounded it. Of course, also that came
It's
from
also
all that.
like when you're not being entirely truthful with it, that's not particularly transparent. But you try and brush it off like it is transparency. That was their problem.
Oh, it was all sorts
more
of gross
generating.
there.
One of
But,
the
yeah.
one of the really good examples that I liked of people being transparent and showing these kind of things was the Hellblade.
Senua's Sacrifice. Sure,
yeah,
sure.
I played that game. It was really good. But before I played it, I found out there were a whole bunch of blogs and everything that had been coming out for like years. And it was just the developers showing all these kind of things, and they're working the same engine that we do. And it was cool to see, like, the main character fighting in these gray box model levels.
Some of their tech solutions that you get to hear from as a developer working in the same engine, just being like, oh, that's how they're doing that. That's cool.
And if I'm not mistaken, like, Unreal was kind of catering to them to Ninja Theory to a certain degree because they were doing that, like, real time rendering and
they were helping,
stuff.
and they got to the point where, like, she was able to act out the character, and people in the audience were seeing her act it, and she was like behind screen, she was the man behind the screen acting out the.
It's like a Gorillaz concert, but in engine, essentially. Yeah.
I was thinking Wizard
kind of
of Oz,
awesome.
but yeah.
No, it's a cool thing, you know. Like, it's
Well, I'm glad you didn't tweet out those images because otherwise you'd be a full-time podcaster.
maybe there's exactly, that's a good point. Maybe there's a fake Twitter account out there.
Oh God, don't.
No, I'm not. There's not. There isn't.
Oh, no. What would be your, like, secret name?
Voner. Because, V1 and stuff.
Perfect.
But that's not. No, that doesn't exist. It's fine. We can move on.
I like that.
Please.
Oh, God. Yeah, so there's a line, right, with, like, how much you can share, and, like, but still sharing after the fact is worthwhile, right?
100%.
For people to check out.
This is why GDC and things happen, like talks and all
Yeah.
that. Like, it's all of that. It's the sharing of knowledge, but still protecting what's sacred, and that is sort of the process while it's happening. Like, talk about the process after the fact, because it's unique to every project, right? So,
yeah, it's. I'm glad that consumers get a chance to see this quickly and
Yes.
maybe make that connection. Understand that if it's not exactly easy to populate a game with art. So the last thing you want to do is make your artists work for 2 weeks on something and then realize that section of the game isn't any fun. And then designers go, well, this gap needs to change. I mean, think about what it would take to just move something, 5 feet to the right. It's not that simple if it's like populated with vines and trees and all sorts of pretty things that don't fit when you move it. So hopefully people start to see that and go, okay, I get it. Like, there are stages to making a game, and one part is making sure that just playing through this thing without it being pretty is a fun experience, and then you go back later and make it look nice.
and the farther along you get, the harder it is to do that. Things are in place for a reason. So if
Exactly.
you move something, it touches a bunch of other stuff. Like,
So if you ever get to that point in the game where you think a particular section is too hard or obviously feels like it's busted, it's probably because they didn't have time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That thing was like ingrained in there, and there was the moving it would have taken way more work than just what you think moving it entails.
Well, something we've talked about on the show a bit is like how painful it is when consumers are like, that sucks. Like you make a creative thing that you put your soul into and like a ton of work that they don't see. And then for them to just, because they don't understand the process, right?
And then assume that it's an easy fix or something. Like you brought up No Man's Sky, and when that game came out, one of the articles we saw was like, oh, why isn't it network? They could add that in a week. And it's like,
lol.
It's like, you don't even understand what goes into networking. It's like, why even say that kind of thing? Like, the devs are going to dismiss that comment completely because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like,
we make that joke at work all the time, and it's true. It's like, oh, don't worry about it. I can just put networking in a week. It's
just hire a guy and have him put networking in like 1 week or something. 1 week, and then
actually, Devolver was the best at responding to somebody about that. It was like one of their social media like get wrecked moments. It was a guy who like saw one of the games they were publishing, which they do a lot of 2D like indie projects that are for a really small sort of subset, and somebody saw it and it's like, I can make that game in Flash in 1 week. And they responded to him and they're like, as enticing as it is to want to publish this game, we are choosing to pass on your title, quote, 1 week Flash game.
Flawless.
Thank you, Devolver. Yeah. Thank you.
It's difficult though because like it's cool to see these things like for the community to see, but then when you get to some more technical issues and how do we cross the hurdle of explaining something like networking to the public or something like explaining how it would take, how long it would take, and explaining that the game they're playing is basically smoke and mirrors online in a way. Like,
and there's the problem with transparency, right? Because you open up these doors sometimes to the inner workings or what's behind the curtain, how the sausage is made, whatever you want to say.
And does it lose some of the magic also?
Absolutely.
Because it does. It did for us. I mean, as developers, you get to the point where you play a game and I'm at the point now where playing games is actually just sort of having a conversation with the developer that made it, and now I've found the fun in that.
But that's a pure design conversation. You know what I mean?
I had to, because playing it as just a gamer is so out the window. It's gone.
No, it's forever. And that's a good and bad thing, like you were saying. But at the same time, you also get like this idea of like, I remember what it's like to be outside of the bubble, and now I know what it's like to be inside the bubble. And reconciling the two is not necessarily like a one-to-one thing. Like but it's cool that people can get a glimpse. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my god, like look at all these weird, gray box models of this level. Like I've played through that thing. I know what that looks like. I did it. You know what I mean? But now I'm seeing it from what they saw it as they were building it, and that's a really cool thing. Like when you're watching like those stop motion videos of a guy building this insane, like the new Millennium Falcon 8,000 piece Lego set, and you're watching them doing that. Like it's all not stop motion, but time lapse rather. Yeah. And it's like it's kind of like that. You know what I mean? You get a glimpse into the process, and that's a valuable thing. More and more as the industry gets kind of inundated with people kind of trying to break in, just like us, and you get this idea that it's just not as simple. It's way more intricate. Anything that's worth doing takes fucking time.
So. I like Blocktober especially because it's actually like seeing gray modeled and like mass outs and stuff like that I've seen is more of a hat tip to designers, and designers are kind of the hidden artists of game development and get very little recognition or credit unless they change something that people don't like in a game. So it's cool to see something and be like, this is the designer's work, and you don't get to see that like ever.
Yeah, it's so hard because an artist, here is the art I made. Like a programmer,
the best design is the design that you don't notice.
Exactly.
So kind of a shitty gig if you ask me.
Shout out to UI UX designers everywhere.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean?
Well, and another great thing too is like the community piece of it, right? Like, there's like all you have to do is ask designers on Twitter or even writers too, just like, hey, will you mentor me or will you give me advice? And like 9 times out of 10, it's a yes. But we're so, I don't know, afraid of that, or afraid of like, oh, you must not know my secrets or my dev stuff. So.
Well, even if they say no, then fuck it, ask somebody else. Then,
yeah, exactly.
Man.
A no is fine, right? Exactly. But odds are the next person will say yes. So, developing community, informing consumers, definitely a good thing. Check out Blocktober.
Totally.
Sorry, last thought, real quick, if I may.
No.
Okay, fine. Never mind. Number 2. No.
Oh, go ahead. Say it. Come on.
In my pants, number 2. No.
No, go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm just saying. I think the fun thing about reaching out to people and getting advice from people that are in it is it's a scary thing. Like you feel that barrier. I think one of the great things about Mr. Chris Morris, who can't be with us tonight, is that he has no fear when it comes, or he does, and has figured out a way to quell it in a way that makes him, I don't know, unique in the sense that like networking works for him. The dude has fucking conversations with Chris Avallone, or obviously worked with Cliff and all that stuff. Like, no problem. Like, I'm just gonna be like, hey, let's do this. And I see this with like Raj, where on like Twitter, for instance, where he's just asking other comic book artists or artists in general about like their process and stuff like that. It's like, fuck, like, what does that cost you? A tweet that doesn't get a like,
because even if you
a tweet that doesn't get a response,
don't send it, it's a no anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
you have 0% chance.
I had a no fear T-shirt that said you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Is it hanging up next to your Frankie Say Relax shirt?
No fear, everybody. That's it.
Definitely
Thank you.
Now you
wear
may,
that all the time. Good.
Number 2.
All right. When Valve pulls over 200 games from Steam, you know something has seriously gone awry. Allegra Frank of Polygon writes that notorious, again, fake game seller Silicon Echo Studios had 200-plus titles pulled from Steam due to user reports of asset flipping. That is, making games cheaply by using pre-made assets and selling them far above cost for profit. For this practice, Silicon Echo has been completely removed from Steam. So part of the problem here is the fact that the Steam Greenlight program, or as it's now known, Steam Direct, is known for having lax approval processes and being easy to abuse. So it could be argued that Valve came down hard on Silicon Echo as an attempt to regain a bit of consumer trust. But severing all ties with the studio based on a smattering of reports and admittedly, questionable practices seems like a brute force solution without nuance, no? It doesn't really scream trust us to users and devs to me.
It speaks very authoritarian in a way. Like, they came down and, like, I do approve that they are trying to remove shovelware and everything, and this is clearly like a case of a company like putting shovelware on there, I feel like. But it just going and like removing all of them without like giving the community a huge feedback on it in a way is kind of weird. Like, I don't know. It came out of nowhere, I feel like, also. Even though we were hoping something would happen.
They reached out to Valve, and there's just one section of the email I want to read because it brings up sort of an interesting point. The email is much longer, and there's a lot more quotes that they said, but this section specifically is, quote, that being said, whatever that was that they said, it was impossible for us to ever know that there were some problems with our games, mostly because a great number of games sent for reviews were being approved on a daily basis, that is, by Valve, even on the same day you have sent us the email about terminating our business. I'm going to end the quote there because that's the meat of what I wanted to get to. Is you literally approved one of their games on the same day that you pulled every game? What the fuck? Like,
communicate, y'all. That's really bad.
What is this?
Automated processes can't be trusted sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was hoping someone would say that because
yes.
It's unfortunate.
Well, it's
such a polite.
It certainly doesn't look very good, especially when you're the publisher / developer or whatever. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. I feel like this is one of those things where I feel like two ways about it. I'm like, wow, I wish the Apple Game Store would do this on my iPhones and just get rid of the bullshit and filter me like the stuff that I'm still not going to play, but that is worthwhile, perhaps.
So you can see the good games to play. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Instead of like every Flappy Bird clone or whatever. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's not even a thing anymore, but I feel like people can identify with that.
Go,
yeah, sure.
I don't know. Anything.
Whatever it is. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, we've all seen the numbers, right? Where Steam and that whole, whether it be Greenlight or Direct, where like their available library what tripled in the past 2 years based on just like bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of like legitimate developers out there doing good work and putting out games, indie or otherwise, that deserve to have their spot in the spotlight or whatever.
And
but there's also this
in the muck of
exactly, and this is not helping that shit.
No.
So for Steam to turn around and be like, we're going to start managing this marketplace a little bit more directly.
It's
and
great.
Be like, it is a positive thing. You know what I mean? If they're asset flipping and doing all these things, and I think I read the article and I was like, they even admitted, be like, I understand that some of the things we could do could be somewhat shady, but I'm like,
first of all,
stop
word.
Stop right there. Stop right there,
Themselves.
because as soon as you admit to that, using like even if you don't even mean it, or even if it's not even the correct context, as soon as you say what you're doing it could be conceived as shady, fuck you.
I don't even think they said that. I think they said some of what we're doing is a little bit shady.
Or some people. I'm like, okay, nope, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like you're the Kardashians of the fucking game publishing industry. You know what I mean? Like fuck off. I'm good. Good. I'm glad. I'm happy for Valve for doing this.
Oh yeah, I just think the way that they did it was odd.
Yes.
It could have been handled more elegantly.
When has Valve ever done anything elegantly though?
I mean,
I don't know.
They got those nice graphs.
It's pretty sweet on the visualization, but
no, I mean they have the opportunity here to start setting some processes in place, right? Like for this problem and actually addressing this very serious problem. And I feel, yes, they are trash, like A+. To getting Silicon Echo is trash, but just the fact that it was an instant cutoff, even while they were getting those automated messages, it's worrisome to me a little bit to not have at least the discussion with them.
It's weird because it makes you think like, what's tomorrow? Like,
right.
Where does it end? What's their real goal? You know, you don't really know because they're not being transparent about like what it is they're doing. But that being said, again, I agree with you because at the end of the day, we've done multiple topics on this show about the problem of shovelware and garbageware. This is a reoccurring theme on the show. So it sucks to have to say yay and then be upset about it at the same time. It's just this should be a happy moment. We should all be clinking glasses to the removal of shovelware.
But we're
not.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, well,
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna
Nick
Nick,
I want to hear devil's advocate. Let's hear it.
Well, I don't have a great argument, but I mean, we're all talking like we kind of feel uncomfortable with how they handled it. So, like, is it really a series?
Again,
that's what I'm saying. I want to be happy.
Valve's gonna ban games and then bring them back based on a publisher's apology or whatever. Like we've to your point, Arroyo, like we've done this ad nauseum with Valve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's annoying to keep talking about it. It's still newsworthy, and it still bears repeating the fact that like it's not a perfect process. You know what I mean? Like they're still figuring it out, and if it means taking a shovelware company, you know who I feel bad for is the kid who works at Silicon Echo or whatever. Like was like, this is my door into the games industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who just found out that maybe he's not going to have a job after this because they just got shut down.
That's my
Everything
concern, too.
and
Don't try to
that
hit me with the
sucks,
empathy.
man. That fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Because like
absolutely.
honest, and even now because of the press or whatever, 'cause he can't even put that shit on his resume
That's not going to go well.
or she, whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's no good. I'm just like, it sucks, but it's still like a necessary step in the right direction. I think,
especially
Fuck off with
a
shovelware,
company
like-
that is technically not doing anything illegal. They're taking advantage of a situation in the market, and so like we've all had a job we didn't like. So if you have the stepping stone job, like I've worked at Toys R Us and GameStop and GoDaddy and like none of which I would be like, damn, I really hope I hold on this job for 15 years and move up the ranks. Maybe some people do, but that wasn't me. So I can imagine all these like bright-faced like new developers or people that want to break into the industry that got an opportunity because maybe the job market wasn't great, and they get in on this company thinking, I'm going to work my ass off, I'm going to move on, and then they just sort of it just gets pulled out from under them. And
yeah, that sucks. It's no good.
Damn.
I mean, brutal. Here's hoping they can land somewhere.
But also, fuck you, Silicon Echo, right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
this
Correct.
whole model is not tenable, and if I don't know, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you feel like you had a entry into the games industry and you were trying to be legitimate about it, I don't know, look us up.
Come apply.
Do all the
V1 Interactive.
all the people
I
who
can't
bought
promise you a job, but you are welcome to apply. So
do all the people who bought their games get a refund or anything?
I don't know.
That would be
from what
so
I read.
money.
There wasn't anything about money changing hands at this point.
Yeah,
It was
I
basically
figured
just
they
We're
wouldn't.
just gonna
I mean-
pull this shit. I imagine that Val was like, if you made money on this up to this point where we pulled you, that's your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't stop it now. We're not going to like waste time on litigation or any of that to like reclaim any of that. You know what I mean? But I guarantee you, like,
should
Silicon
Valve be
Echo have any
responsible?
$60
Should
games?
Valve be
Like,
responsible? I don't know if
No,
they should,
probably
but yeah,
not.
no, and that's the great thing about Valve is
they built a
this is
system
not a
that doesn't
derogatory
hurt them.
statement, but like responsibility is this weird nebulous thing with Steam specifically. You know what I mean? Like where everything is so community managed, where like responsibility exists more on the developer than it does on the venue or the platform. You know what I mean? And that's a weird thing. Like,
the only thing that I can hope for in this situation is because this was a company of asset flipping, one of which had a different company publisher name for almost every title they released, which is fucking weird. There's so much of it that screams shady that I don't believe they would be so up and up that they would hire a handful of people. There's probably like 6 people that are. If you're reusing assets in the same thing and you're flipping these $2-3 games, I'm hopeful that maybe it's not a big layoff thing. It's not
200 people didn't just get laid off from Silicon Echo.
That's my guess.
Only like 100 kids in India.
Oh God,
Jesus.
I was trying to maybe like
at least there's some shoes that need to be made, right? Okay, sorry.
God.
Too far.
Reel it back. No, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. No, this is definitely a tough situation. Kind of hope Valve closes that opening for folks that, I guess,
or at least our future people that we're going to try and get on the same level that Silicon Echo did, right? So,
yeah.
Well, they solved the problem of finding one large company that produces a bunch of shovelware or something. I mean, what's the next step after that? I guess. Are they
hopefully something better?
Are they? I cannot imagine that they're going to go through and curate their game library and pick out the other ones. Like, what's it?
Not unless the other ones get big enough that need to be recognized and then have some action taken against them.
That's why they did this one, right? Because it was nice, easy, like bell swoop. Like I get rid of a bunch without having to do that much stuff.
That's right. Unfortunately, Silicon Echo was like the bully in the class or the example to be made of.
Right. It was very clearly let's cut this.
Exactly.
But like if they pulled down a game like that's a good example would be like Fingered.
Okay.
So there's a game that was $2 or something. It was super cheap.
It was $100.86. $1.86.
So it's a $2 game. Thank you. That, Jesus.
After tax.
Can we? Okay.
So I don't want to split those hairs. And it's not shovelware. It was a game that they actually Macmillan worked on.
And former guest.
Yeah. And I don't know. That would be sad if that just disappeared because of sort of this thing where they can't figure out what's shovelware and what's not.
That's the thing. I don't trust it. I don't trust that they're being that nuanced.
James did, by the way. In case we didn't actually say his name.
Exactly. James did former multiple time and great guest. But my thing is this: we have Steam libraries that are probably larger than they need to be, and have games that are not. So you can based on that alone, you could be like, I bought this game, but it's fucking shovelware because it's just taking space on my computer at this point. Developed by a reputable publisher or developer or not. My thing is at what point what makes shovelware?
Right.
What makes asset flipping? That's a good start. You know what I mean? That's a good delineation, I think. But at what is it just you're selling it for a cheap price and nobody's playing it, but somehow it got through the Steam publishing process, whether it be Greenlight or Direct? Is that what makes shovelware?
Yeah. Legal department, go define it. That's what I'm saying. This is their opportunity to get that stuff nailed down. And then, okay. So, then that's available to everyone in theory. So then we know, adhere to this. I don't know. Here's hoping. I don't know.
Start working on Slappy Turd.
It's a turd that flies through Mario pipes if you hit the buttons.
It's Bappyford.
You mean
Rappy Nerd.
No.
You mean Fappy Nerd.
Oh my God. Well,
yes.
Okay. Are we done here?
We are done.
Like a next Steam game.
We're done with that. Might have a title. On to the next.
Don't.
Okay. Number 3.
Okay. So, obviously we have long documented sciencery for this, but apparently rapper for the ages, B.o.B, Robert, wants you to give him
proper name.
Robert wants you to give him $1 million to prove that the Earth is round because he currently believes it's flat because creating diss tracks in an attempt to outscience Neil deGrasse Tyson is fun. He's done that. Look it up. So Chaim Gartenberg of The Verge reports that B.o.B is using GoFundMe over Kickstarter or Indiegogo, probably in part because GoFundMe is lax AF about scamming backers. He might fall into the category of being, quote, intentionally misleading, end quote, bless you, twice, Okay. But if you fall for this, you maybe don't deserve to have money. Also, even if he doesn't reach his $1 million goal, he'll still get to keep the money he earns. To be clear, he's currently sitting at a little over $5,000. So success. But also an update. As of September 26th, his campaign has been put on hold. So while it's not canceled, this means he won't be able to withdraw that $5,000 until he provides more info. So I feel like I ask this question once a week because humanity is terrible, but is this for real or a publicity stunt, or a very obvious, not at all cunning scam? What is this?
As what I read in the comment sections of the article.
Oh, why did you?
That's reliable.
This one-hit wonder, person just trying to cash in on a little extra money based on his fame and the whole controversy that he created around this flat earth stuff.
No, the correct choice is go become a producer.
Yeah.
That is, or start a clothing line or something. That's what you're supposed to do.
What?
Sorry, something about go become a producer.
No,
not
that kind of producer.
That's what success. That's what rappers do.
Like Kanye.
They only get 2 years.
You making beats for us? Or?
Kanye is a much better beat maker than he is a rapper.
Yes, he is.
Okay. So we can agree on that?
I'm saying producers are great. Christ. Okay. Sorry, Nick. What did you have more on that?
No, I was just trying to comment on the fact that I've only heard one of his songs ever, I think.
I have not.
Can you sing, or will you sing it?
Are they sung?
We were like airplanes in the night sky, shooting stars.
Yo, that shit is hot fire.
Like shooting stars.
Yo, you are
and I'm singing the girls'
You
part.
are like Dylon squared, bro. I was just trying to give the scratch.
I'm sorry. I dropped the beat. I was supposed to, I hit it, but I dropped it.
But I was just giving you
anyway,
it was an exit.
A little bit of the quote. This is the part where we should all just get angry. So the GoFundMe was looking to raise $1 million, right, to, quote, launch one, if not multiple satellites into space, because no one's ever done that before, toward the goal of, quote, finding the curve.
You can do it with a balloon. You don't need a rocket.
Okay, so you probably followed the chain of links in this article, because I did too.
No, I just know you can see the curve of the Earth if you get with a balloon.
So I followed the chain of this article. I went into the depths of the internet and got depressed today.
Brave soul.
Because I read this article and was already mildly upset, and then I saw some of the links about when they're like, okay, first of all, you should be upset about the concept of him wanting to launch satellites to prove something when there are multiple countries and governments that don't even agree with each other that all have satellites up there that already show this shit. Yeah. And then they're like, and also the thing where, college students can launch fucking weather balloons to do the same thing. See this link, to which now I went to the comment section of that video.
Uh-oh.
Why did you
I don't know, Joe. Don't know.
We are the comment section.
Also true. I feel like that.
All I know is the entire flat earther community was just saying that they used a fisheye lens, so it's not legitimate. Which actually it was a wide angle lens, so it did have a bit of a curve to it on the ground. So I was like, first mistake, college students, do not give them an inch. And they did, because I'm like, they're sitting on the ground and you can already see a little curve. I'm like, no one's gonna believe you now. No one's gonna believe you when you get up there.
Should integrate that into College 101, fielding the comments section.
Yeah. Don't open it.
No.
Don't look at it. Don't think about it.
Don't feed the trolls.
They should just get he should just get enough for a plane ticket to fly around the world.
Well, no, because that's the thing that flat earthers go off of the most, is that from a plane you can't see the curve.
But you can fly in a circle around the Earth,
I
reach
get
the point that you were at.
But they're going to claim, they claim that planes can take a different turn without you realizing it, and turn around over the course of whatever. They'll have I'm telling you, there's an argument for all of it, none of which are legitimate, but they're there.
All right, okay.
Do we really?
B.o.B. wants $1 million. He wants $1 million fucking dollars, and he suspended the campaign.
They did.
They did.
Upon suspension, he had $5,000. How long was the campaign running up to that point?
I don't know.
It hasn't been that long since I saw that article, at least.
Well, so let's assume a couple days, right?
Sure.
A week. 1 week.
what is the statute of limitations on a GoFundMe project? Is it just open till when? They seem pretty like compared to Kickstarter or like Patreon or whatever. They seem pretty lax. It's like, oh, you can just open a GoFundMe to get your fucking braces done, whatever.
Yeah, it's basically here. Give me some money.
Right. So there's probably not like you can just leave this thing open, but it sounds like this is suspended until further due diligence is done.
Yes, more due diligence.
There are 3 reasons why they have to refund backers on a GoFundMe only. Number 1 is that the campaign organizer does not deliver funds to the intended beneficiary. Okay. What?
Okay.
You good?
Right.
Go on.
Yeah.
2, the campaign description is intentionally misleading to donors. I don't know, maybe. And then 3, the campaign organizer or beneficiary is charged with a crime related to misrepresentations made in their campain. So until we go like snatch up the flat earthers and throw him in jail, he's gonna be okay.
Well,
what's
right? But that's not how I read that. I feel like he's violated all 3 of these things.
Not really.
Wait, what
misrepresentation is yes, and then the money's not going to any group; it's going to him. And then the description is intentionally misleading.
He is the intended beneficiary, so he gets number 1.
Yeah, but
I thought I was supposed to go to satellites. He's not a satellite.
no, he's supposed to launch a satellite, right?
Out of what? His back fucking yard?
I don't know. He's supposed to launch a satellite for a measly $1 million. Let's go over that. That's maybe the cost of part of the fuel of one of the booster rockets or something.
Continue, Nick.
Yeah. Keep going.
I don't have much more to go on. That's misleading already there. Do people not understand what it costs to launch something into space?
I'm just saying, based on, if these are literally the terms of service agreements, the top 3 things, he's in violation of all 3.
No, only 2 at most.
I'm sorry. All you need to be in violation of is 1.
Not 2 of them, number 2. Oh. At most, number 2 is a possible one, but even then, that in and of itself, it's not clear enough to say that he's misleading people.
That's fine, but if I'm the mind and I'm consciously going to go out and do, let's say, a Patreon thing, which Cheat Codes has done, or a Kickstarter thing, or even a fucking GoFundMe, I'm going to make sure that I abide by the terms of service. I'm going to do the things, there will be zero ambiguity about what's happening here. And if I'm sitting there, I have a GoFundMe to be I don't know, Jesus was a woman. Give me $1 million. I don't give a fuck what you believe, but prove it. Do it. You know what I mean? Do the thing. Do the thing you say you're going to do. If you mean
$1 million is kind of a nice, happy round number. It's weird to just be like,
I believe it more.
How much do you need to prove it? $1 million.
You know what? I want to launch 1 plus N satellites. That's going to cost me $787,862.
I already talked to Elon Musk. He said, "Fuck off. Here's a picture of the Earth curve
from the top of a building."
God. No, that
you guys can fund my Jesus is a Woman project if you want to. GoFundMe.com. Jesus is a Woman.
Sorry.
I was going to say, please help. No, the $1 million amount is totally what Nick was saying. That's a Dr. Evil assessment.
$1 million.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, Nick's doing it.
$100 billion. And then he goes back in time in the second one and asks 1960s USA for $100 billion, and they just laugh at it again because they're that kind of money doesn't exist.
Too much.
I like the fact that a guy not to bring up Kanye again goes on Twitter and asks for $50 million to get out of debt. Yo, Zuckerberg, Musk, hit me up. B.o.B's I
just need a
world is flat. I just need a mill. What up? That's amazing to me. It's amazing.
Well, good luck, bro.
What does Neil deGrasse Tyson have to say about it? Did he mention
they had fucking straight up diss tracks.
Yeah,
they were full on raps. And let's admit,
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You don't have to love Neil deGrasse Tyson, but the dude's right. He's a fucking scientist.
Yeah, what's that quote? The great thing about
him.
science
I know
is it
some people
care
don't.
if you're right.
Yeah,
if you agree or not.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you like Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, I know some people have a problem with him or some.
He's not an idiot. I'll say that.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? So.
Yeah. Well, apparently they potentially violated. You were correct, one of them or something, because they decided to suspend the campaign, right?
Yeah.
To review it or something.
But they said, there's the funny thing is that they said the statement is that they announced that while the campaign does not currently violate the terms of service, The company is also temporarily placing the campaign on hold, and that means that they'll be unable to, withdraw the funds until they can provide more information to prove it. So, there's a gray area, I guess.
Yeah.
Is this actually B.o.B doing this?
Is that gray area round or flat?
I thought it was somebody else taking advantage of the situation in a way.
Fuck yeah, it is.
It wasn't
Yes.
him. It was somebody else just trying to get money to try to prove. So maybe they're going to get him on the misrepresentation or something. But
And in what
Or get
world
the
are all the
campaign.
flat earthers going to be like, well, we spent $1 million to prove ourselves wrong.
It's time to give it up, guys.
Give it up. Okay, this debate is over.
They were right the whole time.
Kidding me? Because, like you said, hundreds of satellites already show this, and if you don't believe those, I mean, why would you believe the thing that's not consistent with your reality tomorrow? It's already there today.
yeah, if anything, we learned about believing something has nothing to do with proof anymore these days.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
we don't do the religion politics thing, even though I keep making reference to girl Jesus, but
To Lady Jesus.
Lady Jesus.
Lady Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Respect
Sorry.
the title.
That's right. Well said. Well
Nice
said.
name.
Thank you for the correction. In the current climate of things, it's not hard to have or to believe that our people are making outlandish claims or statements and then having a sect of people believing it for the sake of just believing.
I always just say Pixar didn't happen. That's I need some sources cited.
I literally
Pixar
just thought you
didn't
said
happen.
Pixar didn't happen,
No.
and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Toy Story's a thing.
No.
Also, we just
Hashtag
did an
Pixar
episode about Yoda being in a fucking textbook. So I just want to say, Pixar It Didn't Happen does not fly
No,
today.
not good enough.
It's not about pictures. It's about citing your sources or having some kind of backed up proof. I feel like Pixar
yes.
didn't happen.
And well, here's the thing: if you got $1 million, you can give it to B.o.B/Robert at GoFundMe.com.
Plug it. Give this fucking fool money.
And you too can be a fool.
Or you can
whose money
give your money
and
to
yourself
the
is
Cheat Codes
soon part.
Podcast Patreon, and we'll continue to provide you with more content.
That's an excellent.
Yeah, that's a
an
great
excellent
idea.
I
Wow.
like that idea. And then when we hit the highest tier on our Patreon, you'll see. Go check it out. It's we'll launch a satellite.
No, I will say we could do the balloon thing.
we could do the balloon.
could
thing.
do the
That's a
balloon thing.
possibility.
We know. Did they do it at Digipen? They launch weather balloons.
They do it at
Yeah.
every goddamn college you can go to.
I'm sure that if we made $1 million donation to Digipen, they would let us launch a weather balloon, maybe a couple weather balloons to determine the fact, triangulate
Don't
the
get
fact that
greedy,
there's-
bro.
The
Don't
problem
get
is we
greedy.
can't start all being believers of a curved Earth. Otherwise, we can't rope it. We got to bring in a flat Earth or maybe put him in the balloon.
Ideally.
Now we're talking.
With no
They
return
need to see
plan.
for
Can
themselves.
you see the curve now?
Oh my god. Okay, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the lightning round.
For you, the listeners of the Cheat Codes podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to try out their service. I use Audible almost every day on long runs, at the gym, or on commutes. Currently, I'm listening to Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. With a fantastic performance by the author, this book captures what life was like growing up in South Africa at the end of apartheid. I highly recommend it. So to take advantage of the offer right now, go to audibletrial.com/cheatcodes. That's audibletrial.com/cheatcodes for your free audiobook.
It's lightning round time. Here's how it works. So we're going to take 2 quick topics and then give each member of the panel a minute to chime in, pee much, uninterrupted. At the end of each minute...
Pee much?
Pee much. P period much. So at the end of each minute, Joe Arroyo will award each panelist a quantity of some type of points based on, unicorn origami skills or
Yep.
whatever. And Erskine, feel free to give Arroyo whatever your maybe a replicant heart desires.
You know what's really funny about this is that you guys gave him this responsibility because I was fucking horrible at it when I hosted the show. And you're still giving it to me to reward to him, the one guy who was like, you fucking suck at this.
We
You know
wanted to
what?
just remind everyone on my minute.
We want the contrast.
It's a good callback.
The foil.
It's a good callback.
I've known better point
Givers. Yeah. Me too, buddy. Me too.
You're going to be great. Let's keep it up at that high point where we started.
Let's keep it positive. It's going to go well.
Keep it
positive.
Keep it plus. Let's go.
You're doing a
plus,
great
plus.
job.
I believe in you.
Okay. Are we all right?
Arroyo's given the shoulder pat.
It's
The
good.
after school special.
There was a
shoulder
little
pat.
extra squeeze and rub, which it goes from like friends to stop.
Right. Where it's like,
Too much,
are
gonna
you
bite.
hitting on me, or is this just like, are you just not good at this? Like that kind of thing.
I'm not good at hitting on you.
In Redmond, you never know.
That's
All
right.
right.
There we go.
So-
Also true.
All right, first topic. PUBG, we just can't seem to quit you. Cecilia Tanastasio of Kotaku reports that folks are selling a stylish virtual kerchief in Steam's community market, where actually 80% of its most popular items right now are from PUBG.
Well, that's about as much as
So-
Valve takes from.
All right. As a note, this thing is just for show. It doesn't provide any type of bonus whatsoever. It just came in the $40 pre-order crate as part of a costume set, an outfit set. So the appeal here is rarity. So I want to hear, what purely aesthetic virtual item would you be willing to drop $1,000 on? Or maybe just, what are your thoughts on why people would do this? It's insane. Give me $1,000, please, for no reason. Mm-hmm. God. Mm-hmm. Nick, you want to go?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Hi.
What exactly what would I spend $1,000 on in virtual world?
Sure.
Yeah, for something that's just pretty that you just like. It doesn't do anything.
In virtual world.
You can wear
Or
it.
just talk about people who do this.
Yeah.
And why that's great. Ready, go.
Okay.
All right. It's weird because I can't imagine anything I would spend in virtual economy $1,000 on. Though I can imagine a world where people would want to, where like most of our social life takes place in virtual reality or something, or very much Ready Player One. I guess like people could just spend money in the virtual world, and you're basically that's where your social space is. That's when you're more yourself, I guess, or something. I can see that future ahead of us, but we're not there yet, and I can't possibly think of anything that I would spend money on in virtual reality. $1,000. I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I would spend $1,000 maybe on like my computer, and that's almost the same thing because I'm using the computer to provide my virtual experience. So,
All
But it's a
right.
head wrap.
For your
A
head,
hot
Nick.
dog,
my
if
head.
you will,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it. It's a hoodie, for Christ's sake.
for Lady Jesus Christ's
Lady
sake.
Well, that was a very...
Nice.
It was a good minute. It was tame,
I meant virtual sex dolls.
Yeah, that's what we're going with
Thank
this.
you.
Ones where I can properly subjugate women.
Jesus.
Did you guys see that shit, by the way? The whole, there were, damaged models at a recent conference
Yeah,
they
that
had
was
to, throw out
ridiculous.
because guys were, fondling sex robots
It's
so
so-
bad.
Okay, another
Yeah.
episode maybe.
No.
Christ.
You talk
Okay.
about it in your minute, and we can
Yeah.
talk
Sorry,
about
you're
it.
right.
Yes,
You're right.
okay.
You're right.
I would... Fuck. I'd like to award you
That's the problem.
one... Stop.
I'm sorry.
A $1,000 weather balloon in Kerbal Space Program. Just so we can find the curve.
No,
Find the curve.
those damn liberals can fake the curve of the Earth in virtual reality. So
You're right.
fake news.
But then I don't know why you spent $1,000 on it. All right.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm going. Let's
Okay.
move this right along.
That is weird that I spent $1,000 on that.
Okay, all right. So this kind of reminds me of the worthless Silicon Valley appliances. The clueless programmers who've lost any understanding of the value of money would just drop their money on a bit. Also, I mean, I would pay for a thing like this if I also got a wearable version of it in real life. Like one that I could sport around, like NBD. This is from Dragon Age or whatever the fuck. I was thinking about this, and Flemeth's armor in Dragon Age 2, super specific. She's got the push-up leather bodice thing, a hint of a cape, Maleficent horn hair. Get the fuck out. That would be amazing. But yeah, if I also got a physical copy tailored to me, then I would say yes. That'd actually be a really good deal, frankly, on that outfit, I think.
Okay.
So
You actually would. You'd spend $1,000.
if I got the physical
Got
thing
it.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only way.
then I'd like to award you that that comes with a physical copy, but it's like shitty 3D printed. And you
carved out of styrofoam.
Did not read the fine print. And you're like, oh yeah, styrofoam.
Wearable,
bust.
can't actually be worn.
Right. Exactly. It's fitted for a child.
And it broke in transit.
When you call them, you're like, what? You didn't see the question mark after the word wearable? It's like, wearable?
Right.
Well, that's just great. Thanks. Okay, Erskine.
I give the best gifts. Okay.
Erskine, go.
So this feels like, I understand where you guys are coming from, and it makes a certain amount of sense. I would love a certain amount of cosplay stuff for $1,000 in realistic form. I really would. But this feels like the thing where like you have X million amount of players on your game, and if you introduce a marketplace, statistically somebody's going to spend some money at some point, right? And so what we're doing here now, and what's happening to me, feels like the whole whale equation for mobile games.
Yeah,
where it's like I got money to burn. I'm somebody that's very well off, and I'm just going to spend. Like, I enjoy playing this thing, and I want to be the one person that owns this thing that is somehow based on the Steam item economy or trading card thing or whatever the fuck it is, has driven up a $40 item to $1,015. I think was the highest price that somebody paid for this particular scarf. That's crazy to me. That's insanity. Like but it feels like that. It feels like it's just the whale thing in a different form.
Got it. It's like taking advantage of people's tendencies and stuff like that.
I mean, good for Blue Hole, which is weird.
Yeah.
Those blue holes.
Whale something?
Yeah.
Blowhole? I don't know. All right, Joe.
Oh, I get it. Blue hole, blue whale.
Mr. Arroyo.
Yes, Arroyo, save us.
I would like to award you the opportunity to purchase the rarest IPA that is only available in the digital world of Warcraft, that you cannot get anywhere else, and you'll never be able to complete your untapped library without it.
Okay.
For just a measly $1 million. And
if I can't actually drink it, then I'm not buying it.
Well, it comes with a real version.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, Arroyo, take us home.
Please. Yeah, sure. This actually does not surprise me one bit. I think it's weird in Pubbage because I don't really give a shit about games like that where you want a bandana, like that kind of thing. But I mean, this is tried and true human nature from the beginning of time. That's why auctions exist. That's why people spend millions of dollars on stuff, because of the story behind it, or the person who owned it prior, or whatever reason you can think of, period, that normal people would go, that's fucking dumb, I wouldn't spend that. There's someone who will, and there always will be. And so because of that, then is anyone really shocked that this would carry over into the digital world? No, because rarity and circumstance always create sort of those things where people say, well, fuck it, I've got the extra cash and I want this thing that no one else has for bragging rights or whatever reason, and I'm going to do it. And I would never fucking do it, but I'm not surprised by it. And that's probably why I'm so angry, because it doesn't surprise me.
Can I footnote this real quick?
Yeah.
Like, you spend $1,000, even if you suck at PUBG, you have $1,000 fucking piece of gear, and you run into the person who's actually really good at the game and sees you and is like, holy shit, that person spent $1,000, $1,000 on that piece of gear. Like, they must be good.
I'm gonna shoot them in the face,
right? And then it's like you are buying into something that is not reflective of. I feel like, again, this is why rewards are a good thing for a game.
Speaking of that, are you going to give me something?
Points, bro. Stop dodging the points.
You're right.
God,
I award you. I award you.
Winner, chicken dinner. No.
I award you a clone copy of yourself built by Unreal in their game Fortnite.
Wow.
Oh, that's complicated.
That's like why?
It's like have the Joe Arroyo experience designed by
Epic
Unreal.
Games.
Yeah, Epic Games, but it's through Fortnite.
And it's stylized this time.
Yeah.
Does it come with a cease and desist letter?
That's maybe next week.
And the next follow-up question to when you have a clone of yourself is, can I make out with myself?
Oh.
Because I know what I like.
Is it gay if you make out with yourself?
It's not wrong to love yourself.
It's irrelevant.
It's
I mean,
not?
because most people will tell you that you can't love anybody else until you love yourself, right? Like that's
the quickest
It's a common
A to B
misconception.
way to get. Yikes.
And I would even imagine that Joe loves himself on the regular.
Yeah.
I'm known to play Where's Wookie. Callback.
Amazing callback, and we're gonna keep going.
Yes,
we need to
please.
keep going. So, lightning round topic 2. Pac-Man is coming to a casino near you. Hooray! We guessed.
Paku.
If somebody tells that fucking story,
Christ. Oh my god. Okay. Seth G. Macy of IGN reports that Pac-Man Battle Casino is a new 2 to 4 player casino game premiering at the Global Gaming Expo. So it's like the casino version of E3 this month in Las Vegas. So players try to eat each other, and the last one alive wins. Yay. Christ.
For money.
Eat yourself. Okay. Okay, so it's kind of cool to see casinos getting in on adapting games for their setting, but considering how intense gamers can get, so video games to be clear, I can't imagine this going well when serious money is on the line. That's like feeding that gambling addiction, right? So yikes. But questions for you. What classic video games would you like to see in casinos next? Or maybe talk about how shameless this cash grab is, or evaluate how well you think this is going to do in actual practice. Arroyo, you're like raring and ready to go.
Yeah,
your
like
face
this
should
one.
just be the image on this. Okay, go on.
That face.
Go.
This one that no one can see. Okay.
Yeah.
I like this. I don't know why people don't like this. This is great. I think that it's cool. I want to see, fucking Street Fighter or like any fighting game. I mean, you both put coins in. That's the only difference. Except one of you gets them back. It's not that different. Like we go to arcades all the time and put all of our money into it and give it away, right? Like so. In this point, I like the idea of playing that competitive nature. Sort of game, and then one of you actually coming out the victor and walking away with cash. It reminds me of sitting down at a table, whereas where you have the opportunity now to like play Texas Hold'em in tournaments or something, and there being an actual winner because you're playing against real people and you're not just trying to beat the house all day. So the idea of stepping up to a machine with another individual and kicking their ass and then reaping the rewards sounds pretty kick-ass to me. With the exception that I just think that games didn't do this previously, only because there's a lot of red tape involved in like any bugs that might incur from a game that could cause a false win or a problem that. So hopefully when that all gets fleshed out, that's maybe why we're seeing them more, because the moment you can blame the game, you can't reap your reward.
So they'd have to be careful about taking cheats that people can exploit out.
Or just generally, if there's a bug in the game, and something happened. Well, my character froze. That's why you won.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I like. I should side note. I played a lot of Texas Hold'em for real monies, so that's probably why I like this.
I award you the timeline where the offshore accounts for playing poker online weren't taken
from me.
So all that money that you and I both lost, we both get that back. It's
sad.
It's sort of self-serving, but I feel like we both benefit here.
Cool, I like it.
All right.
Thank you for the soundtrack too.
Right, that's a sad little violin for you. Okay, Erskine,
yes.
Next.
I feel weird anytime. It's weird how these two topics are actually kind of pretty close together, because it's all about what people are willing to spend money on. So you can put any skin, any theme on anything, whether it be a Vegas slot machine or whatever, to do whatever with it, and then have people battle for money or whatever. The stakes change. It's all dependent on what people want, really. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what I think. I think ultimately, if people want to play Pac-Man for money, then so be it. People are doing it with Dota. People are doing it with MOBAs in general all the time. People are doing it with first-person shooters. It's becoming a thing where money is involved. And if you think Vegas is the wrong idea, you're probably right. But ultimately, Vegas has got the fucking lead on it, and they're making money off you because you're doing it. Unless you own a casino, you're not making money. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Play or don't play, it's up to you. If you want to theme with Pac-Man or anything else, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, you get that. You have to choose for yourself whether or not you want to engage. Sorry to be a downer.
It was a very responsible minute.
It was okay.
Sorry.
For that adult minute,
Yeah,
what do we...
I'd like to offer you a rare opportunity to get in on a fantasy football league that lasts for 2 days and is for real money against other people you've never met. It's also officially sponsored by the NFL.
Is it still though?
It's still around.
I haven't seen it in any of the ads on the actual NFL.
I saw it last week.
Wait, is that literally my reward?
What, DraftKings?
Sure.
We'll also do the Shiva Bowl Shuffle for you.
Yeah.
Now I feel better.
The Shiva Bowl Shuffle.
Who has made, Shiva is the actress who's actually the star of Battlefront 2, right? You know that.
Oh, no.
Yep.
That's
Now you know that.
amazing.
Yep.
Thank
Shiva
you.
Convenience Zone?
Don't pre-order that game.
Come.
Don't pre-order it.
So when
Don't pre-order it.
well,
please.
unless you want to
Okay.
get on the
We gotta keep going.
beta, but
Who's
yeah,
up?
fine.
Running out of time. So here we go. All right, I'll go. So, yeah, gonna derail a little bit. But what I wanted this to be, like from the title, was I don't know if y'all have seen Broken Lizard's Club Dread, perhaps?
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Beer
Okay.
Fest, motherfucker.
Yeah,
What's
there's
up?
so many great films for the ages from those gentlemen. Yeah, so go watch them all, everyone. Maybe in that order. So, but in Club Dread, they have a live action Pac-Man, like, maze thing that they play. So, like, people dress as, like, the cherry and, like, the ghost, like, Inky and
That's
Blinky,
great.
and, like, it's a little gross because very attractive women are, like, Inky and Blinky and co. And then when they become ghosts, they take their shirts off. And that's a little... But, I mean, that's, like, pretty tacky and tasteless in true Vegas fashion. So maybe it would work. But I do... Like, I want to see kind of a LARP component if we're going to start adding these games to casinos. Yeah. Showmanship, right?
I would like to award you the Vegas version of this game, but there's no cherry in it.
Well, then what's the point, Arroyo?
I couldn't get that one out.
Everyone wants a cherry. Okay, Nick,
Hey.
tell us
Okay.
your thoughts.
My thoughts on this are, it reminds me, we talked a little bit about a casino that's open, like some kind of zombie game or something where people could play, where they're trying to get like real games into these casinos to try to, what's the word? I don't know, entrap people into playing them more. And I feel like video game culture fits to that a lot. Mm-hmm. I still think it's a good idea to have these kind of things in casinos. It adds a little bit more fun. I go to Las Vegas too, and I do it responsibly, I'd like to think, where you try to set a little bit of money aside and you only bet with that money, and you understand that you're going there for that reason and not going back to get more money and pull it out and lose that money also. Like, as long as they're teaching responsibility with this kind of like enterprise, I guess it would be I'm perfectly fine with it. Like, I have no problem with people incorporating these kind of games into gambling or casinos. But I mean, gambling is an addiction as it is. So I mean, it's not a different problem. It's just a different medium, I guess.
Okay. So it's about teaching responsibility to people you're trying to take the money of?
Through a casino and with money.
No, I'm saying
So-
like people need to be aware that these things could be fun as long as people are responsible. Like, drinking is fun as long as you're responsible. Like,
Got
it's
it.
Right, okay. All right.
Moderation.
Still trying
I'll
to
give you
figure that
one
out.
stay at a casino hotel where the book in the drawer is just a children's book called Curious George and His Responsible Night at the Casino.
Bestseller. Great.
That's good. He wrecks the casino, by the way.
It's one of my son's favorites.
Curious George and His
Aw.
Responsible Night at the Casino. Mine too.
Weird
Growing
thing,
up.
George doesn't have a tail.
It was, I was going to say that, is he really a monkey or is he an ape? I don't understand. I don't know.
At the risk of like furthering this whole conversation, I just
Further the conversation.
we feel a little like I feel a little reservation when video game properties get put on some sort of like gambling, Vegas or not, a gambling kind of veneer, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been happening for a long time, whether I wanted to or not. So to assume that it's not going to, and the fact that you're going to play competitive fucking Pac-Man for fucking money is it feels like a natural outcome to a long line of things. So you know what? I don't know. Do you want to fucking play Pac-Man? Like, people people play Call of Duty and Halo and Dota and fucking League of Legends for fucking money all the time.
You did this in your minute.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it
You already
up.
said all this.
I'm gonna hit the wrap it up box.
Do
on
you remember how the lightning round works?
It just
It's been
feels
too long.
good
I wish
to
I
be
brought
back.
a bow so I could put it on
It
you.
just feels good to be back, man.
Well, great to have you back.
We
But
love you.
that's it. Time for episode 152 to die. So, thanks for rejoining us today, Erskine.
Thank you for having me very much.
Yeah,
nice.
it's like so great to have you in the studio, and glad that the fam is doing well and V1's on the up and up. So.
I'll send you a follow-up email about the rules of the show after.
I love when I hear about things after the fact. It's great.
Oh, great! Just like the Blocktober. After that. Yeah, okay, bringing it back. Try it.
Full
All right,
circle, full
good.
circle.
So,
Call
thank you, patient listener. I even knew it would be. Yeah. So,
ahead of that.
for joining us on this perilous journey of self-discovery and existential crises for an hour. So, please hit us up on cheatcodespodcast.com, on Facebook, and on Twitter, and get in on the conversation. If you tweet at us, we'll probably tweet right back at you. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon page. You can become a patron for as little as $2 a month, which is chump change in the year 2019. And yikes, that's when Blade Runner is actually set.
Correct.
So, thanks to everyone who's jumped on board so far. And until next week,
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. Time to die.